Why do INFJs sometimes let relationships die? They'll be close with friends or family members for a long time and then all of a sudden go quiet and slowly let the relationship wither away to nothing. In today's show, we'll explore why INFJs act this way and whether or not this practice is a good thing. Before we jump into the reasons why INFJs sometimes abandon relationships, I have a free gift for you, and it's the INFJ Personality Guide. If you've ever wanted to understand yourself better, reach your potential, and live a life of purpose, then this is the guide for you. I wrote this because when I found out I was an INFJ, that knowledge significantly impacted my life. You see, I used to think I was wrong and broken and messed up, and I often felt like I was hearing that, if not directly, indirectly from the world. But the truth was that I'm just different and unique. And the same is true of you. You have special gifts that the world needs, and you may not hear often how you can use them because you're so rare. So in this guide, you're going to learn a lot of good stuff to encourage you and to tell you the truth that you're valuable and that this world needs your gifts and needs to hear it from you. So grab a free copy of this, and you can do that by texting the letters INFJ to the number 444999 or visit ispeakpeople.com/INFJ-personality-guide, and you can download a free copy there. One really big reason why INFJs sometimes end up abandoning relationships is because they have super high standards for themselves and for others, especially compared to other personality types in the world. They have a hard time being around people who lack a strong moral compass or engage in activities that might negatively influence them for the long haul, such as using negative language, disrespecting their personal beliefs and values, or just mistreating other people. Initially, most INFJs are friendly. They greet the world or interact with the world with a function called extroverted feeling, which prizes group harmony and peace. So first and foremost, they're super tuned in to social expectations and ways that they can encourage and meet the needs of other people. They're so aware, in fact, that oftentimes they put on a social mask and act happy and hide a large part of themselves, a part that most of the world doesn't really get to see, and really only their closest friends and family get to take a glimpse of. But since INFJs lead with a function called introverted intuition, they're really good at seeing patterns and making connections, particularly when it comes to understanding people. You see, they can look at a person's behavior and choices, and after watching them for a short period of time, they can pretty accurately project how that person will be living in the future. They're able to see far off into the distance, a long way down the road, beyond where most other personality types can see early on in the relationship. If they can sense that a person's making poor choices that can negatively influence or harm them, then their response will often be to allow the relationship to die. And this might take the form of failing to answer phone calls, to reply to emails, or even to respond to text messages. The INFJ might stop on purpose spending time with the person and avoid the places where they might meet and see one another. An INFJ may even busy himself or herself with responsibilities, real or made up, just to eat away at the time that he or she would normally spend with that other person who's starting to make poor choices and could hurt or negatively impact his or her life. Most INFJs are aware that if you don't spend time with someone, and that if you're not around them and you're not engaging in a meaningful way, then over time, as with any relationship, it's going to deteriorate, as Jack Schaefer talks about in the book, The Like Switch. Now that we know why INFJs treat relationships this way, sometimes we need to ask an important question, and that question is this behavior a good thing or a bad thing? And if it's a bad thing, what should INFJs do about it? Let's start by talking about when it's a bad thing. If you've known someone, a friend or family member, for a really long time and you've had a positive, healthy relationship, but that friend or family member has made a few errant, poor, wrong choices or is starting to move in a direction that isn't in line with the kind of choices he or she has made in the past, then it might be a bad thing to just cut the relationship off altogether. If your friend or family member is starting to veer away from a path that he or she has been walking for a long time, a positive path, this is a chance for you to be the truest friend you could ever be, and be the friend that your friend needs you to be, or your family member needs you to be. And this is where you need to step in and confront and tell that person the truth. Now, this is challenging because all INFJs hate conflict. In fact, they'll go out of their way to avoid it. And that's why they, most of the time, will take this semi-passive aggressive approach of busying themselves and cutting off contact, because it's a great way to end a relationship without the confrontation and the conflict that ensue. And INFJs are some of the most sensitive personality types. It's not a bad thing. It just is a thing. So because that's the case, they will go out of their way. But it's a great step of personal growth to learn to confront people, and it'll really take your friendships deeper, because your friend will be at a crossroads where he or she can choose to listen to what you have to say or to ignore it. And ultimately, that's his or her choice. And that person may respond in a harsh way to you, but you are stepping out and being more loving and kind than you could have ever been in any other scenario, because you realize and take into account that you might get attacked, but you're putting the interests of that other person first and trying to preserve the relationship. And ultimately, this is the best thing for you to do, because to be a real friend is to put that other person's needs first. And that's not to say that you shouldn't take care of yourself and you should make yourself susceptible to physical or emotional abuse. Never. That's not what I'm saying. But if this has been a true friend for a long time, or a family member for a long time, then it's probably worth taking a step out of your comfort zone and confronting. And there's a great proverb that says, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful." And what it's saying is that someone who just acts like everything is okay and pretends like everything's all right when they know that someone else is going the wrong way isn't really being a true friend. But a real friend will tell the truth, because ultimately that person wants the best of his or her friend, wants the best for that other person. And when you have a good friend, that's when it's time, I think, to step in and step out of your comfort zone and take the relationship to the next level, and also give yourself an opportunity to grow as a friend and as a person as well. That said, there are certainly times when it is a good thing to let a relationship go. And those are times when you're around people who are making chronically poor choices that you may just be getting to know, and that you can quickly see they're not the kind of person that you want to hang around with. Or maybe it is a friend or family member that you've known really well, but they're someone who's quickly headed down the wrong path and who won't listen to your response, or maybe who you have confronted and isn't turning around and isn't listening to anyone else. Then you might want to sever your relationship with that person. And instead of just waiting for the relationship to deteriorate slowly, like we tend to like to do, because it allows us to avoid the conflict and preserve at least some level of harmony without getting hurt, it might be a good idea just to quickly end the relationship and confront that person and tell them, "Hey, you're violating my values and my standards, and I can't maintain a friendship with you if you're going to do this sort of thing." And just tell them outright so that you can get out of it quickly and continue as a whole person, knowing that you're not connecting with people who don't value your standards and don't value the sort of things that you do. And this is also the case for the person who doesn't honor your boundaries. There are people in this world who really have trouble understanding where the line is with other people. And if there are those kind of folks in your life who are trying to take advantage of you and who aren't listening to your no, and whom you've tried to establish boundaries with and they keep pushing, then the healthiest thing might be just to cut them off and to build other relationships until they can show that they've learned to respect your boundaries. And some people never will learn that, and you just need to cut off your relationship with them and build newer, healthier relationships with people who can respect your boundaries. Thanks so much for checking out this video today. Really appreciate it, and I hope that you found it helpful. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button. Make sure to do that because I'm creating new content specifically for INFJs just like you each and every week to make your life better. And if you haven't grabbed your own free copy of the INFJ guide, make sure that you do that. You can text the letters INFJ to the number 444999 or check out the link that I'll post in the description below. I'll see you on the next video.